notification of ratification yet. I cannot bring the item forward this evening.
Well, I didn't fill out a card. Would you like me to speak to it?
I certainly would.
As I just said, I'll speak to it, but it's on the, it's been a long and arduous process to get the contract to finished language. We've been negotiating or attempting to negotiate for over a year, and I very much appreciate the comments by Mr. Bookser regarding Michaela's willingness to take a day of furlough and not link it to conditions for the Federation of Teachers or SEIU. We have agreed to furlough 1 day this coming school year and 1 day for 2010-2011. It's getting very odd to say that, and I have to think about it. Anyway, we are cognizant of how deep the budget cuts are in the district. We did designate the dollars to saving class size reduction and bringing back 8 of our probationary teachers from permanent layoffs, and Dr. Totter honored that and acted on it immediately. We have approximately 15 temporary teachers that we hope jobs will also be saved. But we also recognize that SEIU has taken tremendous cuts. We do not expect them to take a furlough. In fact, we were very clear about that in negotiations. We think we've come to a very fair agreement, and I am happy to report that the teachers have ratified the agreement so that it can now move forward for board approval. And we'll be working with Dr. Totter to get to you a final document so that we can then sign off on a total 3-year contract. It may seem strange, and maybe he was going to speak to this. We negotiated for an entire year. That's the first year of the 3 years, so we have 2 more years of agreement. We've also brought forward what we think is a fair and reasonable calendar so that our community members will be aware of at least a year in advance now what the schedule would be. We had been in hopes that we would have settled much earlier. We have never negotiated this late into the year, and even in bad budget times, and we hope that in the future we can resolve problems and issues much more quickly. But the good news is we have come to agreement. We've it's included in here the language around, or the concepts around involuntary transfer. After the 20th day of school, if a teacher is moved, the district will provide packing materials. We've come up with very clear language to help ensure students have a seamless experience and a positive experience and aren't disrupted. And we've given some positive working conditions for the person being moved so that they too can be up and ready to start. We brought forward the new law around that was missing from our family leave in the leave section of the contract regarding military personnel, so we clarified that. We have understood the district's need to try to be fiscally conservative, and so we met their need for placing teachers on step 15, giving 14 years of prior service instead of what we had previously had was ongoing step placement, and that moves it from 19 years of prior service to 14 years of prior service, and hopefully that's a little bit of a cost savings. I mentioned involuntary transfers. We have a 2-year duration. If by some miracle there's some money, we would come back to the table if there's a net 2% COLA, so that we recognize the district's need for clarity on that, because this year, as you know, we got something like a 5.6% COLA, but they pulled back 6.7%. You know, well, anyway, we get negative numbers. You know, I do math. Anyway, We are having a continuity of teacher evaluation committee, extending that one more year so we can continue to work on that. The side letter it spells out the furlough days, and I think it's fairly clear. We aren't actually physically taking a day. We are reducing the after-school hours for staff development so that we will be doing 5 hours less of our 9-hour obligation after school. We've talked about a lot of different ways we might work that, but that's what we settled on. And then you see the calendar delineated. So we're very happy that negotiations have concluded. We're gleeful, joyful. And again, very much appreciate the clarity from Mihaela, and I'm sure that includes our 4 top district managers as well. So we appreciate this coming to conclusion. Thank you.